my new hat, guys, which we call a toque in Canada. All right, you guys, we are doing a super cool live with Becca today. She is one of the artists that has taken my areola course, and we are going to be chatting with her today. I'm just going to bring her on.
Ooh.
Good
afternoon.
Morning. I know, I was just looking at the time. I'm like, it's 11. It's still morning.
Yes,
for
I
me.
am.
You're
Ontario.
2 hours ahead though, right?
There.
Yeah. Oh, well, welcome, my
Thank
fellow
you.
Canadian Miss Becca.
Thanks for having me.
So thank you again for joining me this lovely Friday morning to chit chat about a paramedical journey that you've been on as a PMU. Let's kick it off right now and have a little introduction about who you are, your business, and how long you've been doing everything.
Hi,
Introduce yourself. Girl.
This isn't my normal thing that I usually do, so you'll get me a little awkward here. I've been in healthcare for 13 years, actually, as a personal support worker. And with COVID, my son lost his daycare spot. So long story short, I had to start over, find something that would work for my family. And I've heard about PMU for a while. I follow a lot of body tattoo and modification pages. And I've noticed over the years eyebrows getting tattooed and eyeliner. And I thought, this is wild. There's a few people around here that do it, but not a lot. And I just went for it. I was like, I'm going to do it. And here we are, almost 2 years in.
How long did you take that big plunge, Becca? How long ago did you take that big plunge?
Almost 2 years. So it was about the first year of COVID.
Okay. So, yeah. It's like, I almost feel like COVID's been 3 years. I don't know why, but it's just like, oh my God. It's just like a total time warp of like, where did that time even go? Okay. So when did you take areolas and how have you started to incorporate this into your PMU business?
So I took the areola course in September of last year. It's a little slow going, but right off the hop, I started working on people just to get practice in more than just on silicone skin. I found that really difficult to work with. So I've been tattooing thighs, areolas and nipples on thighs. It's been amazing, actually, and it's mostly men that sign up to do it. But it's great, and it's helped me transition to other paramedical tattooing things, scars, stretch marks, that type of thing. So it's all just kind of coming together.
So how did you end up learning that every PM or from PMU to paramedical?
My healthcare background, I've always been a nurturer and wanting to help people. And just permanent cosmetics wasn't quite enough. I really needed a little bit more of a connection with people to help. And I stumbled upon your course and a few other courses. I didn't realize areola and stuff was a thing. Breast cancer and all sorts of cancers run through my family. So I know firsthand there's some people that could have really benefited. Had no clue. So when I saw it, I was like, I'm getting in there. I'm going to be a part of that.
And you probably were met with this like glazed over look that I find I'm met with, that when they say this is something I do, that they go, oh my God, I didn't know this was even a thing.
But the response has been really good of like, that is amazing. Like, good for you. It's great. It's great.
Yeah. So what's been your favorite paramedical case so far?
This is really exciting. So I'm a member of the trans community here for London, Ontario. And it was brought up to me that there was a need for phallopigmentation. So for Phalloplasty. And right now I'm working on a Phalloplasty tattoo.
explain to everybody what that is, because I guarantee you
so
zero
what
people know what.
Phalloplasty is for trans men who transition. I don't know how graphic we can get here, but when they have a penis reconstructed, it usually comes from their forearm. There's no dimension, there's no depth. It's one basic tone, and they just don't quite feel like they're finished yet. So I had someone ask me, is this something you would be willing to try to take on? And I was like, 100%, 100%. So that's what I'm working on right now. We just finished our first session last week, and we'll probably have like 2 or 3 more sessions, but that's so exciting.
Share the dynamic of what that looks like, because I think from my conversations I have about this, people are just like, whoa. So tell us a little bit more of the journey. I mean, that is an amazing, super unique case. And if any of our listeners right now have any questions, feel free to ask, because I'm sure you're like me and just wanting to educate everybody and tell them that this exists.
Absolutely.
It's like we want to spread the word. So, you know, more.
And I'm still learning too. I think it's really important to, I'm a member of Trans-Friendly. I signed up through them with you, actually. There's a lot of great educational resources on there. It's important to learn, educate yourself, but also engage within your community. There's a lot of barriers that this community is facing that I was ignorant to. I had no idea. So I think that's very important. And you need to be comfortable. You need to, I'm not sure the word I want, be good at conversating, having conversation, bouncing ideas off each other. You can't really be squeamish or shy. Just like a normal conversation, but you're talking about a penis.
Yeah. And like when you approach it with confidence and that laid back manner, like treat them as an equal, like anybody else that comes into your clinic, that's all they want. They just want to be treated like everybody else.
And I've been talking, even my permanent cosmetic clients that come in, they're like, oh, what are you doing? You probably can't see it, but on my back walls, I have some art done of areolas for top surgery, breast cancer. So I've told them what I'm doing with the phalloplasty, and they're just like, that's amazing. There's been zero negative feedback whatsoever. It's really great.
I just want to jump back and just explain what the trans-friendly, when you say you're a part of the Trans-Friendly Registry, what that is a place where people who are trans can go to say that this business, i.e. you, so there's different things that kind of qualify you to make sure that they feel comfortable and, you know, going to come up for them. That's, you know, I think a daily for them, the struggle of just, you know, not feeling accepted. So registry as well. And I really encourage all of my students to become a part of that. So anybody who is trans knows that that's
my sticker's right on my front door. Yeah. So
yay, same.
Yeah, they are.
Purple stickers. So I just have a question right now. Can you please elaborate on the procedure? So can you walk us through a little bit more of what you're actually doing? Because I think when people, the skin graft typically comes from this part of the arm, and then what they do is they're like reconstructing a penis out of that skin. Imagine if like this skin was down there, there's no
nothing
detail.
Really.
It just looks
you can have the option of creating circumcised or uncircumcised. So basically, what was it? Elaborate on the procedure. I'm learning. So we broke it down into levels, or sessions, sorry. So our first session was getting a base tone down, adding a little bit of shading where we want to create a glans. Our next session will be incorporating a few more skin tones and focusing on shadow work, the frenulum at the bottom, the glands around that top. This particular client has chosen a circumcised penis, so we really want to give that 3D to it. We're also doing some base shading for veins, wrinkles, And then the last session, depending on how things heal, is where we're going to add those highlights, lighter skin areas, choose our light source, and really make those base details pop. Is it very painful?
Yes. And painful.
So in the discussion I had with him, it's uncomfortable, and it wasn't like a intense pain. It was a vibrational discomfort. So imagine a really sensitive spot on your body that has constant pressure and vibration on it. It's very overwhelming and it doesn't feel great. We did use numbing and that helped a little, but there's definitely more sensitive areas, particularly at the base.
Yeah. I think one of the questions that comes up is like, do you numb, and do you, like, how long of session is it? Aftercare?
I do try to pre-numb just as a courtesy. Even though it was forearm skin, it's placed in a new area. There's new nerve endings growing all the time. I believe he is a year or so post-surgery, so those nerves are still connecting and firing. Sorry, what was the other question? Numbing, we do numb. Aftercare. So we struggled with that one a bit. How are we going to keep this safe? How are we going to cut down on infection risk? So I sent him home wrapped in Tegaderm and also gave him a Telfa insert. And he booked it, so he's off at home for a few days. But treating it like any other body tattoo, keep it clean, keep it dry, use a good aftercare on it. And I sent him with extra Telfa bandages in case he needs to go out. I believe I was just speaking with him yesterday. We're around 1 week post our first treatment, and he said it feels fine. The retention's been pretty good. It's at that sort of flaky stage. He's just treating it as he did with his body tattoos.
I feel like this skin as the graft is pretty good skin to tattoo in general. So a lot of times, just depending on more of the attached part, like where the scarring would be, is a little bit more troublesome
areas that you wouldn't. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. I really did. But again, I'm learning too. He's very patient with me. He understands I'm learning as well. It went really good for a first off, but there are different areas, especially when they have an implant, that you need to be very careful of. So we're winging it, but we're winging good.
And honestly, like with paramedical tattooing, I say this all the time. People are not expecting perfection. This person wants improvement. This person with something that is going to look better than arm skin. And also, just to circle back on the sensitivity, it reminds me more of working on areolas when it's like weird disconnected pains that it's like you might not feel it exactly in the area, but like you get a zap in your neck, or you get a zap like under your arm or your side. And
deferred
I'm
pain
guessing
for
that's,
sure.
that's
Absolutely.
similar for him.
I could be working further up and he's feeling it like in his hip. So it's confusing for the mind and confusing for the body. So it's just, I kept checking in with him and he's like, I don't know. But it went really well and I was really proud of him. Like he did such a great job. And that kind of circles back to the whole basis, I guess, of paramedical tattooing is we're here to improve. People sometimes are left with scarring or they go through these surgeries for breast cancer cancer prevention, injury, and they think that's it when they're done. So they might have loss, they might have damage, and they think that's it, and they don't really feel finished, for lack of a better word. So paramedical tattooing as a whole, whatever you're working on, I think gives people a lot of hope that this isn't it. We can do something, which is amazing, and things I never would have thought about 2 years ago.
And I'm always blown away by what a confidence and game changer that is for that person. Some even with
Absolutely.
minimal improvement. It's just, they're such great clients. They're my favorite. I love being able to, I want to give them the best result possible, but they are grateful for sometimes just like the smallest things. And a lot of times we can just create these incredible afters for them, but it's just such a spectrum, and they are nothing but grateful. And
a little selfishly, it's a feel good for me too. It makes me feel good to know that I'm making others feel good. So it's a win-win.
100%. So, okay, what would be the advice you would give for a fellow PMU to add paramedical tattooing
Never
to their
stop
business?
learning, for one. I've taken several courses from several different people, and I don't stop. I'm always looking for something, a different way to do something that works for me, that is still safe for everybody and produces great results. And more so, if we're going to touch on paramedical tattooing, I think it's very important for you to be a trauma-informed artist. And this is something I never gave a lot of thought to. My friend Megan, who owns Studio Ink in Fraser Valley, she brought it up to me, actually. She's putting together a little information thing that we don't know what these people have gone through. It's mental, emotional, physical. I've been relatively healthy my whole life, so I can't really fully understand what they've gone through. So it's important for the artist to understand trauma, understand the vulnerability, proper communication. I made myself a nice little list here, because of a lot of times with these services, it's very cathartic for the person that's going through it. It's very emotional, it's very intimate, and you need to be comfortable with real emotion. You need to be comfortable with listening and supporting and nurturing. And if that's something that you're not really comfortable with, you need to make yourself comfortable with it, because no bars, these people are getting stripped down to the bones of their soul.
Totally. I really well said. I think that there is just a list of emotions that run when you're able to provide those services, when the service is complete. So it's a real host of everything.
I got goosebumps now just thinking about it.
How has it changed? I know it. I absolutely am the most passionate about that part of the business, for sure. How has adding paramedical tattooing changed your business as a tattoo artist that just originally did cosmetic tattooing?
Options for people. It's changed it in that before, my services were geared towards, I'm all about, body positivity and self-love, and really helped those people that weren't comfortable with something cosmetic like their brows. And it's transitioning into helping people that are maybe uncomfortable wearing a swimsuit in the summer because they have a scar, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anybody's body, they're all beautiful, but for ourselves, we might need a little something different to make us feel better. So for my business, in that regard, it's getting the word out through my permanent cosmetic people, that there's options. Everybody knows somebody who's been affected by something. It's a little slow to start, but the word, I have noticed, is really getting out.
One of the cool things is that you have a certain percentage of the market as cosmetic tattoo artists, and then I think once you add paramedical, you really open up to 100%
Absolutely.
of the population, which is unique. It's unique in a business because typically you have a certain target market, and it can be different to cultivate something different. So I love that you've added it.
I love that you offered it.
You're having great success and having these like amazing stories that you're able to share. And I would definitely like to come back and have another live with you just to discuss, like, once you're done with your transgender client. And
I'm so excited
about it. I think that's so
it.
fascinating for people to hear. Yeah, me too. So
thanks for
Becca,
having
thank
me.
you again for being a part of my this morning, your afternoon, and I hope you have an awesome weekend.
I would
and
love
we will
to. Thanks for
definitely
having
chat
me, Jody.
soon.
Take care. Bye.
All right.